For the next 30 days, I'm going to be playing Beat Saber for 30 minutes every day to improve my resting heart rate as well as lose weight.
We're playing Beat Saber.
It kind of makes me dread playing. It was like worse than running. A few things I'm very surprised about is how sweaty and how fast my heart rate is after playing. The main goal of this experiment is to see if Beat Saber can be a reliable way to get some cardio in. I'm going to try and not change my diet too much and really focus on just utilizing the game to get my weight down. Currently, I don't really do cardio unless you want to count playing volleyball, which I'm really hesitant to say that it is. This experiment is going to rely on 3 measurements: my weight, my resting heart rate, and my heart rate directly after playing Beat Saber. To be consistent, I'll weigh myself first thing in the morning every morning and check my resting heart rate right after. And then obviously I'm going to measure my heart rate right after playing Beat Saber. Also to note, I'll be checking my heart rate in both instances by manually counting my pulse for 30 seconds. The times at which I play Beat Saber might be a little more variable, but I'll try and keep it in the morning and afternoon to try and control for that as well. The main reason I'm doing this is to show that the most important thing when it comes to exercise is finding some way to move in a way that you enjoy, and to do it consistently. Now, I was able to do a body scan at the gym I work at to find a starting point, and it looks like I'll be starting at 204 pounds and around 15.7% body fat, and with a resting heart rate on day 1 being 64. Not terrible stats, but room for improvement. My expectation is that I'll probably be able to drop a few pounds and get comfortably under 200. I also started this project on a Sunday, so I'm probably going to lose a few pounds right off the bat from going out to eat this weekend. My resting heart rate is already pretty good, being at the low end of the average, but there's room to get into the athlete's top condition range. So if I can get below 60, I'll be happy with that. The real question is, how intense can Beat Saber be, and will it get my heart rate up or get me out of breath? And can it feel like a true workout? Week 1 down, and thoughts so far. Weight looks to be on a steady path down, which is good. Can't imagine that I'm burning too many calories in just 30 minutes, but it's probably a non-negligible amount. A few things I'm very surprised about is how sweaty and how fast my heart rate is after playing. Genuinely, when I started, I was worried that I probably wouldn't feel like a good workout. I wouldn't really be sweating. My heart rate would probably be only slightly elevated, but my heart rate getting above 120 pretty consistently is a nice surprise. I think when I go in the treadmill and select the fat burning mode, it tries to get my heart rate to about 120 to 124. Another thing that's been pretty weird is that my biceps started getting sore sometimes after I play. I can understand why, because I'm moving my arms very quickly, using my bicep to contract the controller up and relax on the way down, but it's still a little strange, considering I didn't work them out earlier that day or the day before. So it wouldn't really make sense for them to be sore from a previous workout. Also, another thing I've noticed is that I'm getting pretty good at the game and I'm improving with each time I play, which kind of makes sense because you play something for 30 minutes every day, trying to get faster, trying to improve, you kind of will just naturally improve. That's all I got for you guys in week 1. See you next week. Why I picked Beat Saber is fairly simple. I played a good deal before this, and I know how much it can get me moving. It also is a very good way of progressing. When you do the campaign as a new player, it starts you off slowly and progressively tries to push you little by little to do harder and harder difficulties. Similar to the concept of progressive overload you might find in a gym setting. So if you start, you might not feel like it's much of a workout at all, but this is all part of the plan. Normally, if you were to get a trainer and they just kill your body on the first day, you're very unlikely to come back and you'll probably be sore for a couple days after. However, if they just take things slow, nice and easy, and just run through the basic movements to get you to break a sweat just a tiny bit, you'll feel good and be confident for the next session, where the trainer will push you a little bit more and a little bit more until you're pushing near your maximum effort, but without feeling as sore as you would on day 1. And you can just kind of see Beat Saber follows a similar pattern where you can do harder songs, harder difficulties until you can't do it anymore and you need to stop and practice that song. Week 2, and this one was pretty rough. I couldn't really get through a session without my shoulders dying. If I had to guess why this is happening, it's probably because I'm swinging my arms really quickly in multiple directions without really taking a proper warm-up or easing into it during the session. But the thing is that making this maybe extra weird and extra annoying is that it's happening on the easy songs too. It's probably my body telling me that I just need to take a rest day or just like an easier day. It's kind of made this week a little more discouraging because it kind of makes me dread playing, because like if my shoulders hurt every time I play in the middle of playing, I kind of don't really want to do it. I'm still getting the workout in, I'm still getting the heart rate up. Numbers are looking pretty alright, nothing really crazy yet. However, my shoulders keep hurting like they are now. I probably might have to stop the challenge short, just so I really don't injure myself. Also, I have a volleyball tournament coming up later in the week, and I'll probably use that as a rest day to take off Beat Saber. My shoulders will probably get a little bit of work in, but I'll definitely be swinging less in Beat Saber than I will in volleyball, surprisingly. Hopefully I'll figure something out, or maybe it'll sort itself out. See you guys in week 3. Now, in terms of getting my heart rate in the fat burning zone, I'll need to be about 60% of my maximum heart rate. There's a few ways to calculate this, but I'm going to use the easy method of just subtracting 220 by my age, giving me 195 BPM. So I'll need to be aiming for about 117 BPM during my Beat Saber sessions to achieve the fat burning heart rate zone. The reason for doing this is that lower heart rate cardio causes your body to burn more fat than carbs for energy, meaning you don't need to be killing yourself to burn off some fat or get some good exercise in. Although higher intensity work can let you burn more total calories in shorter time. Honestly, the best method is to choose whatever lets you burn the most amount of calories that you enjoy doing consistently. For some people, it could be a 2-hour hike. For others, it could be a 45-minute high-intense run. It's a tough balancing act between finding something that you enjoy and finding something that doesn't take too much time. My recommendation is try and slot in both high and moderate intensity exercise with a slant into whatever you enjoy doing more, or whatever time in your busy life might allow for. Week 3 is done and over with, and I'm starting to get to the end of this challenge. One problem I'm facing more and more is consistently weighing and checking my heart rate. Normally I'm supposed to do it first thing in the morning, but sometimes I'd be forgetting, or I'd have things I need to do in the morning, and I just end up putting it off till later, and by then I've probably had a meal or two, or maybe even worked out, and that might mess with some of the readings from week 3 onward, but I can't imagine it being too detrimental. Otherwise, the data looks pretty decent. It's flattening out a little bit, but something I'm too concerned about. I've also figured out a way to mitigate how sore my shoulder feels while playing, and the solution kind of makes me feel a little dumb because I've always known that warming up is super good for preventing injury or pain or just good in general, honestly. And I kind of ignored it with Beat Saber. And what I found is that when I started playing slower songs, just kind of really getting into it and ramping up slowly and slowly till I get to some of the harder songs a little bit faster that require me to move my arms a little bit more, I find that my shoulder does much better doing that, which makes sense rather than just doing maybe 1 or 2 slightly easier songs and getting right into the hard, fast, and trying to really push the difficulty of the songs I'm doing, which makes sense because when I warm up in the gym, I really do 50 to 70% of whatever my working weight is going to be for that exercise. So something like Beat Saber, it's probably good to have a similar idea and mentality to that as well, where maybe I start something that's like 50% slower or 70% slower than what I'd probably normally do at my max, than what I'd probably do with my max speed. Also, in the beginning of this week, I kind of gave myself 2 side goals, and they both consist of something inside the game and not really a fitness goal, or a little contradictory to the main reason I started doing this challenge in the first place. But with the mods I have in Beat Saber to kind of give it a little more fun, get a little more variety, especially with getting more new songs, there's also one that kind of tracks your rating on the global and countrywide scale. And it rates songs based on 1 star all the way up to, I think, to 10 or 11 stars. I'm not sure how high it goes, but that's the most I've seen. For the most part, I do 5 or 6 star songs, and those are generally can be pretty difficult depending on what type of song, or if it's more speed or technique wise, or I don't know, there's always a few variables that make it more challenging for me personally. And I kind of wanted to see if I could do a 7-star song and then maybe even push it to get to an 8-star song. Towards the end of the first week, I was able to get almost the 7-star song done with a little bit of practice, but I'll probably be able to pick it up soon in the 4th week. Getting the 8-star one's gonna be very difficult. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to do it by the end of the challenge, but we'll see. All right, that's all I got for your update here. See you in the next week. Another thing Beat Saber is helping me do is stand more, which may seem random and unnecessary or not really that important. But when you look at how much most Americans sit, just standing a little bit more each day can play a big part in offsetting a sedentary lifestyle. With 26% of Americans saying they sit 8 hours a day and 46% saying they don't get exercise along with it. Many studies and experts know that sitting is bad for you, leading to a lot of physical and mental health problems. Reversing the effects of sitting for 8 hours a day may seem difficult or impossible, but it's actually not as hard as you think. Getting 30 to 40 minutes of moderate to intense physical activity could be enough to offset this. Now, Beat Saber may not be an intense workout, but it could be a good starting point to get you to something to be more intense later on. It may not be able to fix your problem, but it can be part of the solution that helps you stand more and sit less. Researchers found that just standing for 2 hours a day was associated with 2% average reduction in fasting blood sugar levels, 11% lower average triglycerides, 11% lower average BMI, and a 7.5 centimeter smaller average waist circumference. A separate study found that replacing 30 minutes of sitting with moderate intensity activity could lower your BMI by 0.63 points. There's not really a current understanding how much sitting is too much or how much standing is really needed. What we do know is that finding ways to stand more and get more exercise to offset the amount of sitting you do throughout your day is always beneficial. Well, today was the last day. Week 4 is finally over. And honestly, it's kind of a relief. This challenge kind of started off as being fun, but as the weeks went on and with the worry about my shoulder and finding time to play and being consistent with measuring my weight and heart rate and all of that, it just kind of became a little annoying. Lost kind of its charm, it's fun. It's kind of like, ooh, I'm losing a little bit of weight. My heart rate's actually getting really high. It's just like, oh, it's the same measurement as I got yesterday, or oh, it's slightly better, or oh, I don't know. Something about it just ended up being more tedious, more annoying, and I kind of lost the fun. Like I stopped being excited about playing Beat Saber every day. I was kind of just like, oh god, if I just play like these few songs, I could probably get through it quicker because it's just like these are longer, so it feels longer. Or maybe I play them slower because I want to practice this one. And it became less about like, all right, let me really try and push it. Let me really try and see if I can lose some weight. Let's see if I can burn some calories. And in some ways, it kind of became more dreadful than when I used to do running. It was like worse than running. Because when I was running, I would just kind of run 2-3 times a week, depending on the week and my time available. And I would run for a certain amount of miles. And I was training for a half marathon some years ago. I kind of knew, or it was much easier to schedule my life around my running or slot my running into my life already. Because I only really needed like maybe an hour, really, to like make sure I hydrated beforehand, warmed up a little bit, ran, got back and showered, and then it'd be like an hour. And if I did more of my longer runs, maybe it's like an hour and a half. It seems like a lot of time, but an hour and a half for one day for all of that isn't that bad. Especially if it's like on a little bit of an easier day. With something like this where it's like 30 minutes, it's not really 30 minutes because I have to find like 30 minutes of uninterrupted time every day. That means the weekends. That means when I have plans going on. That means when I'm like hanging out with friends, hanging out with family. I have to find time in there to like get home, put my headset on for 30 minutes and just play. But there isn't really too much setup that really needs to go beforehand. It's really just kind of getting my room cleared out, making sure there's enough space there so I'm not like whacking or stepping on anything. So it does have like that perk where it doesn't take as much setup. But once I started having to really warm up like I would for running, it kind of made me realize that I'm not working for the full 30 minutes anymore. Because before I could just pop the headset on and work for like pretty hard for 30 minutes and really feel the sweat after the first or maybe a second song. But now I don't really feel it till I'm already like 10 to 15 minutes in, which kind of feels like it defeated the purpose because it's supposed to be 30 minutes of good, intense workout. But now I'm warming up, and that warm up, while it's important and good, is now cutting into the work time. I think the feeling afterwards I finished is like way different as well, because after running I would feel good. It was like a little bit of a runner's high. Or now when I'm with Beat Saber, I just turn the headset off and get back to whatever I was doing. There's no real like good feeling like, oh, I've accomplished something, oh, I did this. Like I might get that if I beat a song I was struggling with before, or got a new high score, or saw my number on the leaderboard go up a little bit. Like that'd be cool, but it's not the same as like when you finish a run. Because I think in some ways you're kind of doing it for yourself when you do that. It's like no one's watching your run, no one's tracking your leaderboard when you run. It's just kind of you just running. Yeah, all in all, it was fun for a while. Kind of got old. It did help me with some of the metrics I was looking for, mainly just losing weight. I wasn't able to really lower my heart rate at all. I saw it dip below 60 once, but that's just may have been an anomaly, a little bit of an off counting, or just maybe I was a little more relaxed that day. Who really knows? But granted, my heart rate is already in a pretty good range, being on the low end of what most adults can expect their resting heart rate to be. I was really trying to see if I can get the top athlete range, but really to probably get there, I probably need to do something that top athletes would probably be doing, like running a lot or doing a lot of high intensity work rather than just like moderate light work to try and get some fat burning a little bit. Now I was able to complete the 7-star song that I said in the side goal towards the beginning of week 3, but I wasn't able to get the 8-star song. I was close, but not really able to make it. I'll probably give one more try tomorrow to really see if I can get it. Now, what did I actually get for my final weigh-in, and what's my current body fat percentage about? The final weigh-in, I was at 198.6, and this was done the day after, not the same day. And here, I was 199.3, about the same. My body fat percent went down to 15.7, losing 1% from the start of the challenge, losing just about 5 pounds. This may seem good, like it did work. There's a good chance that some of that starting weight was just from me eating a lot on the weekend. Because one thing I noticed with the graph is that you can really tell when the weekend comes around, because you'll see a little spike up in my weight while it goes back down the steady range. My real starting weight was probably what I got the next day or two, where I think it was like a high 201 or just about 201 instead of being 204.2 pounds. One thing to also note is that my skeletal muscle mass did also go down, but I'm not sure how accurate the scan is because all my lifts have been going up since the beginning of this challenge. I haven't really felt or noticed too much of a detriment on that. It's all been steady progress going up. But now the real question: did I waste my time playing Beat Saber for 30 days? And the answer is maybe. Kinda. I mean, I enjoyed it, so it wasn't a waste there, but was it a waste of time in terms of trying to lose weight? And there I'd probably say probably. And this probably has more to do with the fact that I'm already pretty active and probably wouldn't gain too much from just having 30 minutes of moderate intensity activity every day. As someone who's probably working out an hour and a half to 2 hours a day, adding an extra 30 minutes to make it 2 hours to 2.5 hours isn't probably going to do a whole lot to change my weight and change how many calories I'm burning on the day to day. But for someone who has 0 minutes of working out, this may have great effects on your health and maybe help you lose weight or at least start being a little more active. Because whenever you do something, everyone always thinks you need to go like balls to the walls, go as hard as you possibly can. But a lot of you know who tried learning something new is that sometimes just starting small and doing a small little bit every day is the real way to like make progress and try and use it as a stepping stone to make better habits. It's kind of how Duolingo works. They don't try and make you learn a whole new language in a month or even a year sometimes. They really just be like, hey, just do one lesson a day. It's 5 minutes and you can do more if you want and you get bonus points if you do that. But there's really no hard line push. It's just kind of like do it at your own pace and your goal is to just do 5 minutes a day because everyone probably has 5 minutes in their day somewhere. It's kind of the same here. Like you don't have to be doing 2 hours of work every single day, every single week, all the time. It's just like, hey, maybe your life's busy. Maybe you can only spare like an hour, like 2 days a week. And like, you know what? 2 days a week for an hour is better than 0 days a week for 0 minutes. And the changes you'll probably see or notice is huge. Because one thing I'll always say is that the most important thing to being fit and exercising more is really just doing something you enjoy and finding a way to do it consistently. That's kind of the main problem I see a lot of people facing is that they seem like they hate most exercise, which is fine. Cardio kind of sucks. Weightlifting can be not your thing if you're not trying to get bulky, but maybe you like playing soccer. Maybe you like playing a sport. Maybe there's something with the group classes that you like because you like the social aspect of doing an activity with a bunch of people. Or maybe you just do push-ups and sit-ups in your room and other calisthenics, you know, kind of whatever gets you moving a little bit is always good. And keep in mind, you don't have to do something for 30 minutes every day like Beat Saber to be physically active. As long as you find something that you enjoy that you can do a couple of times a week, not every day, that is more than enough. And a lot of studies have shown that enjoyment in exercise has been associated with a higher exercise level. And then when exercise is seen as a chore or something that you have to do rather than something you want to do, people tend to adhere to it less. So while some changes may seem small and the results may not come as quickly as you want them to, it's important to see them as a stepping stone to being healthier and not the solution. So try to experiment, try and find things that you enjoy, and don't be afraid to fail until you find something you really love to do. I mean, because that's what this whole journey for the past 30 days kind of was, is me being like, I like Beat Saber. Maybe I can turn that into my cardio and I can enjoy it. I can feel like I'm getting something out of it and I could share that with everyone else. And as I did it, I realized I didn't enjoy as much as I thought I would. It was a game I enjoy. Like I played it a lot. I had 20 some hours, I think, before I started this challenge. And now I have 40 some hours at the end of this challenge. While it's still probably a game I'll play every once in a while, being forced to play something, as most people probably know, kind of sucks. And that's what it kind of felt like at some points in this challenge. Maybe for some of you, you love Beat Saber and you can play it for every day or every other day maybe. And you just play it for an hour and you're able to maybe that helps you stand more and get more active, and from there maybe you're able to control your dieting. On top of playing Beat Saber for a prolonged period of time, you could probably start burning a little bit more calories than you would have before. And maybe this gives you the confidence to maybe start running, maybe start going to the gym, start doing other activities that also can help you lose weight and get to wherever you want to be. But for now, I'll probably just stick to saying volleyball is my cardio, at least until I find a new challenge to do. Well, that's all I got for you guys today. See you in the next one.